In the midst of me coming out, I was also coming in.
I'm not going back in there. No.
TJ Show. TJ Show.
What's up, TJ Nation? As you can see by the title of our video, we are going to be doing a coming out story. It was requested a couple of times in the comments.
Highly requested.
We did see y'all. We do appreciate y'all. We love y'all's interaction. We do appreciate y'all very much.
Y'all gave us so much support.
We certainly
and so much
appreciate that.
love. We're gonna show the love back. It's probably not gonna be like the most fun story, but it'll be more information and more.
Yeah, I don't know what to say because my lip popping.
That's okay. Sit down with the same popcorn and maybe some tissues this time. And, you do what we do.
Popcorn and tissues.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of the events that transpired, we definitely packed away, especially those sadder moments. So just bear with us while we recall all of the stuff that happened.
She has her own coming out story, and I have my own coming out story. And so she's gonna tell her coming out story because her coming out story is shorter. And then I'm gonna tell my coming out story.
There's not a lot to my coming out story. With me, it was the coming out, and then it was like the experience afterward, because I made a really big transition. In the midst of me coming out, I was also coming in.
I'm not going back in there. No.
I was coming into my masculinity, so it was like a lot all happening at once. I wasn't ready to come into terms with the fact that I was a part of the LGBTQ community. I didn't even know what to label myself. I was afraid to label myself as lesbian because as I grew up, I always had negative connotation associated with that, with the sexual orientation, and I just was afraid. I was afraid of what my mom was going to think of me. I was afraid what my family was going to think of me. I just wasn't ready to accept it. And so fast forwarding to college, I get to college, it's a lot of freedom on the campus.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of freedom, pretty people
Like me.
to see. So it was like, okay, when I got on the campus, I started to become more confident in indulging in my sexuality. I met her, y'all seen how we met. We did our little thing for like about a month. We started on October 5th, it's our anniversary, October 5th. And so that's when things really got like official. And so things just kept progressing from there. So by later on, we ended up going home for Thanksgiving break in November. And by that time, things were starting to get deeper with me and her. Like we were just like, the butterfly stage of our relationship. I didn't have a lot of close friends. I didn't have a lot like people that I frequently brought home or integrated with my family, like best friends like that. Like I didn't have a lot of those people. So my mom, little dingy light bulb started going off in her head when I started talking a lot about this girl I met at school. And I was on FaceTime with her while, I was at my mom's apartment. Like I was on FaceTime with her. My mom's like, you don't spend too much time personally with a lot of people. Red flag number 754. My mom is like doing my hair for Thanksgiving break. It's when I had hair. I gave myself away, to be honest. I really wasn't so. I was digging her. So I feel like that when I was on FaceTime, I was like kind of, calling her like, the cutesy dootsy stuff that you do in the beginning of a relationship. Over here calling her middle name and asking her if she's sleeping. Are you sleeping?
That's crazy. Like, there's no way you thought they would have known.
It was so not subtle now that I think about it. It was really not. I thought that I was playing that off. And then so my mom, it's just like little did I know, she's just mentally checking a list. Like all the little sketchy stuff I was doing. A couple of days later, she comes home with a bag of groceries and drops them off in the kitchen. Mind you, her back is towards me and not really looking at me. And she's just, shuffling, and I'm playing on my phone. And then she just pauses, and her back is still towards me. And she's like, I'm afraid to ask. I kid you not. She's very dramatic. She's like, is there more going on between you and Tia than just friends? At this point in time, I'm just sweating. I'm like, all right, I gotta play this off. I gotta play this cool. Mom, I can't have friends. Knowing good and well, I didn't bring nobody, close around me like that. It was clear as day what was going on, but I wasn't ready to tell my mom. I was not ready. I played it off for that day, but the playoff really didn't last long. She just didn't want to dive into it because my mom is very much a Christian woman. And so obviously she doesn't want to hear that. So, that's also why I wasn't ready to really get into it, because I just was afraid of what she was going to think. Like, I feel like that she was one of the bigger hurdles I had to get over when coming out. I was really concerned about how she felt about it. She took it for the meantime, and then a couple of days later, it was like, all right, really, let's be for real. It's just clearly not, what you say it is, because you're constantly on FaceTime with her all throughout the night.
And the thing is, we talk all the time, like all day. Like
the
there's no way you don't.
Hey, you're giggling like a little schoolgirl. Like you're not, you know good and well this is way more than just Susie down the street. So, let's cut it. So I got real with her, and she asked me again, and I was just like, okay, to be honest, she is more than a friend, and no, I am not straight. Did I tell her exactly what I was then and there? No.
Didn't she say you were bi?
So she was insinuating a bisexual thing, and I feel like I wasn't ready to accept just being full-blown lesbian. So I went with it, and I was just like, yeah, that's it. Like, I was like, I'm bi.
Sure.
I am. Mind you, of course, I did not look like this,
Oh, yeah, she had braids and everything.
I was femme presenting at the time. I just was like, yeah, I'm bi. Yeah, I'm going to marry a man and do the hetero thing in the future. I went with that because, again, I wasn't ready to have the conversation. So I assured her that, basically kind of deluded her and myself into to get this as a phase. And
it's a phase.
Oh, dirty lie. I know good and well I was not going to be with no man. I came out. It felt like a breath of fresh air, I feel, for a moment there, because it was like she, like I said, was the biggest hurdle that I felt like I had to get over. My parents are divorced. So I lived primarily with my mom since I was 11. She was like the main character in my life. My sister, I have a sister as well, an older sister. Those two people, the closest people to me at that time, were the ones that I cared about the opinions the most. And I was just like, I don't want you to, I don't want you to reject me, She never did. I do appreciate her for that. She did let me know that you are loved. I love you no matter what. Now, I'm never gonna stop loving you. You are still my daughter, which I genuinely appreciate of her for doing. But she did strictly explain to me that it is not something that she can condone. First, when I came out, it was hard to accept that she wasn't gonna fully accept me. But, as I grew older and grew wiser, I feel like that I learned to let it go. After I jumped that hurdle with my mom, other people started finding out. It just kind of started spreading. I did tell my dad. He was really sweet about it. He was talking about brunch with me and her, and buying us some food, and even with my transition from femme presenting to masculine presenting, he was super sweet about that too. Well, I got a lot of negativity from a lot of different angles. He wasn't one of them. So that was highly appreciated, I feel, and it is still to this day highly appreciated. After that big thing, I was coming out to my cousins, and they were super cool about it. I love my cousins, love them to death. They were all cool about it. And like I said, after my most important hurdles were jumped, everything else was just experience. Navigating the world out the closet with a gorgeous lady and coming into my masculinity. And that's a whole nother thing. Really rough going from that little closeted femme girl to my sexy masculine self. That was my coming out. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I appreciate those who made me feel supported and loved. I did learn some lessons about people's true feelings. And I don't think there's anything wrong with me being unapologetic. You should be unapologetically you.
We got into her side of her coming out story. I really don't want to get into my side of the coming out story.
So tell me about yourself. No. Because why?
I know I can make it humorous and like laugh about it, but it's like my coming out experience was very traumatic. Now I can laugh about it. I don't really laugh about it, but like now I can look back and be like, whatever. What's different from me and hers experience is no one in my family expected it. As you can see, I am very feminine presenting and arguably straight passing. Really, what is straight passing? Pretty much my whole life growing up, it wasn't that I didn't know that I was attracted to women. It was just, I never talked about it to everybody. So it was just a big shock to my family. I never necessarily had a big coming out. I would say around middle school, I knew that, okay, I don't think I'm straight. And then around high school, I would just tell people I was friends with about it. So it wasn't necessarily like a coming out, like, hey, I'm bisexual. I would have conversations with my friends about it. And everyone that I was friends with was very accepting of me when I would tell them. I never necessarily had a problem with my friends not accepting me, so I always felt like I had a safe space. Around my freshman year of college, I initially came out as pansexual. That's what I felt best fit me, but a lot of people didn't understand what pansexual meant. Like, oh, does that mean you love pans?
Does that mean just like everything, anything and everything?
And they were just taking it so like out of context that I was like, you know what, bisexual. That's what you understand. That's what everyone's gonna get here. So at the time, I had came out to all my friends as bisexual, and it wasn't necessarily a secret. It was once I got into a relationship with her, my freshman year of college, and I would post about her. It was never something that I told my family. So at this time, my family has no idea at all that I like women or anything, because all they're hearing about is boys, 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 boys. And all the last thing they heard about was I had a boyfriend, and then nothing happened after. I want to say the only time my parents necessarily questioned me is the first time I went to Pride. The first time I went to Pride in Houston was, I think, 2018. And that summer, they kind of questioned, like, why are you going to Pride? They're like, are you gay? I was like, no. And they're like, okay, so why are you going? And I was like, because
deny.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm an ally. I'm like, I am an ally, so why wouldn't I go to Pride? My parents are just kind of like, well, mind you, Christian household. So they're just like, you have to be careful with the things that you support. And really to them, it was about safety too, because they're like, okay, well, you might not identify as gay, but you might go to this festival where there's people who don't agree with it, and then something bad happened at the festival, and then you were there. Like, do you want to put yourself at risk for that because you're supporting your friends? I don't believe anything was questioned after that, because again, my family thinks, okay, I only ever brought boys around. I dress the way I do, I look the way I look, nothing's changed about that. So there's no red flags. My parents would come visit me on campus, and there'd just been little hints after little hints. So they would get me gifts for Christmas, the holidays come around, I have holiday gifts. I have stuffed animal bears I'm bringing home and stuff, and it's like, where are you getting these stuffed animal bears? Who's gifting you? Where are you getting this from? And I'm like, oh, do you have some new boy you're talking to or whatever? And it's like, I would never tell them, but any other time I would tell them about, like, oh, I have this boyfriend or whatever. But I'm just getting mysterious, like, all these bears and toys and stuff, and I'm not saying where I'm getting it from. Almost maybe a year into a relationship, probably like a year into a relationship, then my family had met her, but they met her at first as a friend. They met her like feminine presenting and stuff, and they could kind of tell, like,
that girl.
There's something going on, but I can't just put my finger on it. My dad was the first person to like call it, and he was like clocking it. He couldn't confirm it, but like he got a feeling. By the next summer, this was like 2019, we went to Houston Pride. Her and then one of her cousins went to Houston Pride, and I guess that's when it's like started to maybe click. I mean, it was kind of obvious because it's like, okay, now for the second year of the road, now you're going to the Pride Festival again. I just know, like, I tried to go to the Pride Festival. My family was making a very difficult time to get to the Pride Festival. It's like they did anything in their power for me not to go. And despite that, I still pressed to go. I ended up finding my way there. And while I'm headed to Pride with a group of friends, at the time she was with her cousin, like headed to Pride. And then
we were trying to get to a hotel so we could do like 2 days downtown.
So here it gets to the T. I'm sitting at IHOP eating Whataburger. I brought leftovers of Whataburger from the night before. I was 19. I was so broke.
Pockets was slim,
I didn't
baby.
even really have money to go to the Pride Festival, but I was like, I wanted to be there so bad so I could basically get to her. Because mind you, like we didn't have cars at the time.
This was summer, so we're college kids, so it's gonna summer break means
Yeah.
we're gonna spend some time apart from each other. So we're like ready. I'm ready to see my girl. You know, we scraped up everything we could.
So I'm having a hard time as it is eating Whataburger and IHOP, getting stairs, and suddenly, boop boop boop.
I want to sit back and relax and enjoy my evening. When all of a sudden, I hear this agitating, great.
I look at my phone and I get a text on my phone. Here's my dad asking me a question. It's like, I don't remember what exactly he asked. Basically, my dad asked me a question about my sexuality. I was trying to negate the question that he was asking. So I was like, well, I like boys. And he responded back and was like, okay, boys. And I remember it was so suspenseful. And I was like, hey, girls, flip phone.
Okay, everybody shut up.
My chest was beating. I just felt like I had to get it off my chest. And the only person who knew at the time, I think, was my grandma. Fast forward back to my dad. I guess he was technically like the second family member that I told. And then once I officially aired it out, I don't think he responded. He just went ghost. I think I just headed to Pride and mentally disassociated. At least I had friends with me that were like trying to hype me up, and they're like, you know, it's okay, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna like try to take our mind off of it. We're gonna have a good time. Imagine coming out at Pride. Like, it's low-key iconic.
Because it's iconic.
Yeah.
To come out before you go into a Pride festival, because I like to enjoy my time at Pride. And I ended up staying in a hotel with her and one of her cousins after Pride. Like, I had so much anxiety. I was so stressed. I mean, we enjoyed ourselves, and then we woke up the next day, and I vividly remember, that's what I did remember. We went to go see Toy Story.
Yeah, the Forky one.
Yeah.
What is that?
Oh yeah, the one with Forky.
Number 4?
I think number 4. Yeah, we went to go see Toy Story.
Yeah.
I like Toy Story, so it's crazy because I can't remember the traumatic stuff, but I remember that I went to go see Toy Story. Then I just go to the part from, okay, well now I have to get home.
Yeah.
So now I texted my dad, aired out that I was gay, didn't get a response. Woke up the next morning, went to go see Toy Story. Now, I remember kept telling her, I was like, I don't want to go home. I don't want to go home. I don't want to go. I don't know where I got to run away. What am I supposed to do now? I felt like I was going to throw up. Luckily, once I got home, my parents had company over. And you know when your parents have company, it's like, they can't do what they want to do and say what they want to say when you have company. Because, you know, you have to be like, you have to save face when you have company. So I was able to, you know, kind of shimmy myself in the house and like, yay, hey, like, you know, okay, hey. No, I didn't really walk in like that. Like, I literally walked in so quiet. So, like, what are they going to say? Then when I seen there was company, I was like, oh, yeah, like, company. And then, you know, my mom is almost like scary movie style in the kitchen, like, want something to eat? I'm like, oh no, I'm not hungry. I'm just gonna go upstairs. Nothing really came of that day. Days after, when company left, like, everything crashed and burned. After that happened, I basically got shunned. My parents are being distant from me. I feel like after a couple of days of being shunned, then my dad finally has to sit down with me. Definitely talked for like another like 15 minutes or so, and the camera wasn't recording, so now I gotta run it back. I think I was talking about coming out to my dad. So basically, he kind of made it more about himself than about me, and basically after that happened, now I feel like, okay, well, I don't have, you know, other than her, I don't have anybody that I can, in my family at least, that I feel like I could come to and, you know, just set me fully for me, not just for the version of me that you want. After that, I just kind of got to like a low point, a very depressive period. I didn't talk to my family, like my siblings, yeah, but it's like I didn't want to talk to nobody. They asked me questions, I wasn't saying anything. I was just at a low point, and it's just like, if you don't want to accept me for me, then it's like there's nothing to talk about. My mom is literally scheduling me an appointment with a counselor. Great idea, but it was a church counselor. So the church counselor made it worse. Basically, by the end of the session, it was just kind of like, mind you, this is like the first session, one session. I'm bawling, just immediately breaking down and just be like, okay, this is what's going on, and then it seems like it's her, the one you're with, or God. I told her I am living in a like Christian, like religious household and stuff, so it's kind of like, well, you're gonna hurt her feelings if you're like leaving you know, her in limbo, and then also your religion. So what you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Right.
And I'm like, well, that's gonna make me feel worse because now you're telling me like her or God, and like obviously.
That's tough.
So that makes me feel worse. Still continued to date her after the fact, and honestly kept fighting against it. Like any tactic that family would try to use to get me away from her, I'm like, I'm me. I'm gonna live in my truth. Yes, it made me feel really sad, but I'm the type of person that I'm like, I'm gonna stand for who I am, and I'm not gonna let y'all try to stop me. And
Standing on business.
it was a really, 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 really rocky road, but they even came to a point of acceptance. You know, they started like to allow her over. She spent the night at,
Which I appreciate, like for them, like kind of transitioning from a period of really, 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 really being against me to trying to open up. I'm not even gonna say that it was for me because I'm 1,000% sure it was for the sake of keeping a relationship with their daughter for sure.
And they've actually like had conversations with her, and
they opened up their home, which is I absolutely do appreciate.
So it's like it wasn't always rocky, but there's like rocky periods, but then there's been periods where it's like
open and
you know,
close.
open. It's just been like open, close, open, close. But I mean the last experience was even when she proposed to me, we both came to my dad and let him know in person, and
that was something
you know, he was shocked.
About.
He congratulated us, gave us a hug. I mean, he
gave us a hug.
You know, let us know. It's like, you know, obviously he doesn't agree, but at least he was able to like, you know, say something.
Gave us a hug, gave us a good luck. You know, although he didn't agree with it, I did really respect the fact that he didn't cause a scene or destroy a special moment or anything like that. You know, he kept it cute. You know, so and that's all you can really ask of somebody. You know, I'm not asking you to throw a parade. I mean, you know, but I'm appreciative of the way he handled it.
That's pretty much how our experience has been, like following everything, where I'm not necessarily having like the whole family battle and riff, so it's like really not our family anymore. Like it is what it is. I feel like it's the constant having to come out to like new people,
and then it's like oftentimes I will be misgendered, and so some people will think, you know, I'm her boyfriend or something.
That's the craziest part.
I'm out,
and they're like, y'all are cute. Wait, that's a girl? No, that's not. No,
absolutely not.
Absolutely not. At the end of the day, appreciate all my friends now.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool people.
If y'all are watching, like 9 out of 10, if you're watching this video, shout out to y'all.
Love y'all. We love y'all. All the haters and schmaters.
Yeah,
we love y'all.
Because like at the end of the day, we don't really like sit and harp on like the people who
it's whatever,
you know, don't support us. I mean,
you do you, we do us.
Talking about our coming out story, like definitely, it's like bringing back all that negativity and everything. But at the end of the day, it's like just pushing throughout the process is like having those supportive friends, having like even like the supportive family members who, you know, maybe not have been like, you know, your other family members.
Not to ever diminish or cover, you know, totally block all of the awesome support that we have had from family members to friends to strangers.
Because I feel like, and that's exactly why it's like, even despite the negativity, despite even, you know, people seeing this video that just don't agree or what could possibly come by putting yourself out there and talking about these experiences, like what negativity it could bring, I feel like the positivity in the end will outweigh it. And it's like, I would never want to live a life where I can't live my truth and I feel like I have to hide into a shell and I can't be the real me. So it's like, I'm glad that we're able to have a sit down, talk with people, share this story with you guys. Even our story could help someone else out there who is going through the same thing or experiencing a similar thing or might even need encouragement. The biggest lesson I learned is really not taking everything that people say to heart. When it comes to you and yourself and your life, sometimes I had to take myself out of this position where I was always worried about, well, how does me coming out or how does me living in my truth, how is that going to affect the next person? How are they going to feel about me? You're constantly living a life to impress, you know, family, to impress friends, to be this image of somebody that everybody else wants you to be. you're literally never going to be happy because you're never living for, not to say you just have to live for you, but you're never living your truth. You're living what everybody else wants you to be and what's going to make everybody else comfortable. So it's like, yeah, you might be making everybody around you feel comfortable and happy, and it's easy because it's what everybody wants. But in the end, it's not, you're not really truly happy. Not everybody's gonna like everything. You could think you're perfect. There's gonna be something about you somebody won't like. Someone might think you're annoying. Someone might think they just don't like you. Someone might just be like, she's friendly, she's cool, I just don't like her. I don't know why, I just don't. So there's quietly, you could be anything, and there's gonna be something that people don't like about me. There's gonna be something people don't like about her. Like, regardless of what you do, people are gonna find something that they don't like about you. So
do you.
So you might as well just do you anyway.
Stay
because,
true, do you, and you will get through. Oh,
girl, not you, rap.
you heard that? You heard me eat that? Much as we can offer, and when I feel like when we both speak of this stuff, when we give this to you all, I feel as though we're seeing ourselves in the crowd too. Our little baby selves.
And I feel like that might even be like a takeaway, like a way to like end this video. Yeah. We really appreciate you guys for coming and spending time with us and listening to our coming out story. This wasn't really a easy story to kind of bring back to life for either of us, but we really do hope that it benefited anybody watching this video in any sort of way.
And we love y'all, and you know, from stranger to friend to family, we love y'all.
And it's like, we don't have to even know you guys. We love y'all, we see y'all, and we're just appreciative that you guys are supporting us, you're watching, and maybe even taking something away from our videos. So
I feel like that's the awesomest part about it, is that we have this platform and we can talk and possibly touch the hearts of many just from this tiny screen.
The main thing about having this channel is wanting to those people that we might have even wanted. Sometimes I wanted to know, like, how do you come out, and how does that go, and what do you do? What was your experience?
Looking forward to, having more sit downs. Like, we don't have to do sit downs all the time.
We don't have to do sit downs all the time.
Definitely don't gotta be serious all the time.
Yeah, you guys requested the coming out story, and so we're like, ooh, this is a tough story to give, but
I'm glad we got through it. I hope you still got some popcorn left in the bottom of your tissue.
Feel free to drop down in the comments any future videos you want to see from us. We can do Q&As, we can do pranks, we could do challenges, we could do more advice videos, we can do, or not advice videos, but we could do more story times, we could do advice videos. Everything is on the table.
Let us know what you're trying to see.
Till next time, bye guys!
TJ Show. TJ Show.